Excerpts from The Earth Has a Soul by Carl Jung, edited by Meredith Sabini. This is an excerpt from the introduction. The Medicine of Enchantment. Jung's life spanned the years 1875 to 1961. He grew up in conditions largely unchanged since the Middle Ages and lived to see the emergence of the techno-industrial age. The son of a country parson, he passed his childhood in a small village. He left the rural environment when he went away to Basel for gymnasium and medical school, settling in Kuznacht after marriage. At 48, he began building by hand a crude stone tower in Bollingen at the edge of Lake Zurich, a retreat he worked on throughout his life. There, he pumped water from a well, cut wood, cooked over an open fire, and read by an oil lamp, much as he knew a person from the 16th century would have. He wanted nothing to disturb the atmosphere, neither electric light nor telephone, so that the souls of his ancestors would feel sustained. The owner of a nearby restaurant described Jung to some visitors as a nice old farmer. They would sit on the cellar stairs, sample wines, and talk. When informed by the visitors that Jung was a world-famous psychologist, the man was taken aback and said, all of a sudden he was this big man, while before he had just been this nice farmer down the road. That's how natural he was. At a time in the 1920s when tent camping was not especially popular, Jung took his children to spend a month of the summer on an island in Lake Zurich. Through fair and inclement weather, they slept in officers' tents he imported from England, eating fish from the lake and listening to stories of his travels. A young schoolteacher from a remote village was once referred to Jung by her physicians. She lived in constant fear of making mistakes and had gotten into an unbearable state of psychic tension. There was no one in her locale who could treat her, and so Jung had to do what he could do in one meeting. He spoke to her about relaxation and told of how he sailed on the lake and let himself be carried by the wind. But he could see that reason alone did not reach her. As he talked, he heard the voice of his own mother as she sung to his sister a lullaby about a little girl on a boat on the Rhine. Jung began humming the lullaby and saw that the woman responded. At a conference some years later, the referring physician came up to Jung and asked what he had done to bring about a complete cure in one visit. How was I to explain to him, Jung said, that I had simply listened to something within myself? This account may not meet modern criteria for treatment planning, yet healing did take place. What Jung did reaches beyond modern rational methods to something ancient, something fundamental. In retelling the story later, Jung commented, "Enchantment is the oldest form of medicine." Although there are others today who offer clarity about how our ruptured relationship with nature could be repaired, I believe that only Jung speaks in both the discursive voice of a modern doctor who is able to explain and the mythic or poetic voice of a tribal healer who is able to enchant. By incorporating wisdom from the depths of the psyche, Jung reaches not only our modern mind, but also the aspect of our being that he termed archaic, natural, primordial, or original.